Welcome back to International Scale Modeler. I'm Lee. This is the August news update. We've got obviously all the forum updates from ISM, including all the GBs, SiGs, competitions, prizes. We've had a few, a GB end and a SiG start this month. We've got Monopool's current build updates, prize draw winners announced as well. We've got no news report this month, but we have got a news bulletin. It's a shameless one at that. We've got reviews coming up in the show. We've got an IWATA Highline HPCH airbrush from Paul, a Badger paint mixer from Paul, and I'll be doing a Tamiya photo etch file as well. And obviously we'll have a quick look at some of the reviews that are coming up for August as well. But without further ado, let's have a look and see what this news report is. News bulletin, sorry. Right, okay, so it's a quick news about Ultimate Modelling Products, obviously a company Paul and myself run. We've started a new website this month, as you can see here. This is just a front page of it. It's completely different to the old site, it's much more interactive. And we can ship to a host of new countries as well, which will be running along a ticker along the bottom just to let you know all the countries that we can now ship to. So if your country's in there, you're in. Hopefully we'll be adding some more countries a little bit later on, just to make it purely worldwide, like South Africa and people like that. That will come along very, very soon as well. But as you can see, there's quite a few in there now. We'd just like to let people know that please go over to umpretail.com if you want to hear about Ultimate Modelling Products and any news that's coming up or anything like that. Then be sure to register for the newsletter on the site. You don't have to open an account or anything, you just register for the newsletter. And unfortunately all the people from the old site we couldn't bring over to the new one, so if you did register on the old site, come over, register on the new site again, umpretail.com, and then you'll get the newsletter. Now in the newsletter there'll be one a month going out, maybe two, but in the newsletters you will have special one-off discounts and things like that for certain products of ours and things like that. So if you don't want to miss out on those, then please go over and register for the newsletter, and it's building up very slowly. We also ask you to go over and like our Facebook page as well, Ultimate Modelling Products on Facebook. It will come up if you search for it there. Go over onto there, like our Facebook page, because we have competitions on there we don't have anywhere else. We've had a couple now. And it's literally only the Facebook page that gets those competitions, nowhere else. So be sure to register on our Facebook page and on our new website page as well. Also there's on the new site there's a blog page for updates, which is do quick updates how we're doing the things and other things that might be interested with regards to our products and things like that. But also a new thing is a tutorial page. Now Paul and I get lots and lots of questions about how do we use our washes and how do we use the sanders, what's best to use for what situation, all things like that. Now we've got a tutorial up there now of our washes. It's an old one. We're going to do some new ones and they'll be going up very, very soon as well. So definitely something to keep checking back on the site. It's not just going to be purely a shop, it's going to be an information centre as well. So please be pleased, you know, everyone who's registered on the old site, go over to the new site umpretail.com, okay, and register on there for the newsletter, and hopefully you'll get to get some extra discounts and things like that, which will be coming very, very soon. Okay, so that's the news bulletin over. Literally it's just a bit about our company, but now we're going to go over to Paul, who's going to review the IWATA Highline HPCH airbrush. Over to Paul.
Hi everyone, Paul, International Scale Modeler. Review of the IWATA Highline HPCH airbrush for you today. I've wanted to try one of these IWATAs for quite some time. They cost £202.50 from air-craft.net. Again, flawless service from Martin, next day delivery, can't recommend him enough, absolutely superb shop, great guy, and I say always awesome service. I want to try an IWATA that was a bit more comparatively priced to the Harder Steenbeck Infinities. It's a little bit dear, it's probably about £40 dearer, I know, but I want to see how it compared in respect to the Infinity. I'm a big fan of the Infinity, as you know, and like I said, I've been interested for quite some time to see how this compares. I've owned the Neo for IWATA, which is an okay airbrush for the money, and the IWATA Revolution. I wasn't that impressed with the Revolution. It's a £100 airbrush RRP around about that, and I thought it was more in comparison with the £60 Harder Steenbeck Ultra, so I sold that a while back. Wanted a fourth airbrush, yes I know, fourth, for a new line of paints I was testing because they're a bit finicky with the thinner they use with and what have you. Sick of having gummed up airbrushes from different paints being used together, so I like to have specific airbrushes for different types of paint. I don't mean every type, but there's certain types that I find need a specific airbrush. So I was looking at something a bit more quality. Didn't want to go the Harder Steenbeck route again, so I looked at the IWATA. The Highline caught my eye, and it looked an awesome bit of kit. Now, if I read off a few little stats, so I'm just going to look at my screen to read them off. It's gravity-fed double action, 0.3mm needle, it's a 9mm paint cup, so it's a big paint cup. It's got adjustable trigger tension, so you can adjust the tension on the trigger pull back. You've got the MAC valve, which is the micro air control valve, which is IWATA, you know, painted it almost, for fine air pressure control. You've got solvent resistant Teflon seals, so you can use cellulose paint in there, no problem whatsoever. You've got the preset cutaway handle, which means you can get to the tensioner and the needle chuck as well by taking the back end off, which is very handy. It'll do hairline to 25mm spray. You get a 5-year standard warranty and a 10-year extended UK warranty as well. So that's what you get for your money. Like I say, £202.50, so not a cheap airbrush by any means, but certainly not up there with the big hitters, the £300–400 customs and what have you by IWATA, but not cheap at all. So if we have a quick look at the box, go to over a camera. Attractive packaging, purple box, overview of the airbrush itself. It's a good looking airbrush. As you can see, quite a lot of the cheaper Chinese airbrushes copy this style of airbrush. Obviously it's a Highline HPCH. On the side you've got its general usage, which is food, cosmetic, body art, tanning, nail art applications, and that's it really, and obviously modelling as well. Doesn't mention modelling though, which is a bit silly, but you've got, I suppose it's fine work on cars and what have you there, you could put it on. On the other side, nothing, and on the back you've got just a very quick overview of it. So 10 centilitre colour cup, 3mm needle, you've got your gravity feed dual action airbrush, cutaway handle, preset handle, which is on the back, so that's your needle limiter on the back, which I'll go through in a minute, and your MAC valve, the micro air control valve, on the front. So there you go, quick overview of it. Like I said, it's attractive packaging. Shame to not see it in one of IWATA's older plastic cases, but I believe they've all changed over now. So it's still a decent cardboard box, and probably like most people like me, I don't keep them in the boxes anyway. This goes in the drawer, just in case I ever come to sell it or something later on down the line. Inside, we've got the airbrush. We've got the typical IWATA spanner and a sample of IWATA's needled super lube. Quickly go through, we've got an IWATA sticker, which is quite a nice touch. That'll be stuck up somewhere in my workshop, so that's a nice little touch. You've got your quick overview of the airbrush. So it's a quick start guide, so basically attaching air, attaching on your compressor, putting paint in, how to do basic airbrushing and what have you. So if you want to read it, I'll hold it up, you can pause it and have a little read. I'll just come down to here. I'm not going to read it all off, but you can see there about basic airbrushing. Then on the back you've got cleaning, about using the preset and cutaway handles. So the preset knob on the back is preset handle, limits how far back you can pull the trigger, allowing you to set a specific line width each time you spray. It's a very handy feature. Both my Infinities have got it, they come with it as standard as well. And then the cutaway handle reveals a needle chucking nut. Pull the needle chucking nut back and push trigger down and back when flushing cleaner through the airbrush. So just having a quick read of that. The MAC valve, some auto airbrushes are also equipped with the MAC valve, the micro air control valve. Turn the knob, adjust the airflow, PSI, for fine control of the paint. Basically what that means is rather than turn the pressure down on your compressor, which isn't the hardest thing in the world to do, but you know, you've got to bend down to do it or reach over to do it, you've got to look at the pressure gauge. You can do it with that valve. There's no pressure indicator on there, but you can tell by the paint flow how you go, you can adjust it, hence the micro adjustments. So not bad at all, a little bit of information there. There's not a full-blown colour booklet, unfortunately, but there's not much to really say on these anyway. And we have a test sheet, which I'm assuming is from the factory, so you can see you've got big, fine, wide spray, right down to your precise needle spray as well. So that's a nice little touch to get that. Like I say, in the box, foam lined. You've got a sample of IWATA Super Lube for the needle and working parts, the needle chuck spanner, and the airbrush itself. If we get the airbrush out, we move everything out of the way a little bit, and we just have a little look at the airbrush itself. Immediately, it's got good heft to it. It's got a good weight to it. Nice positive action on the air valve, and the pull action for paint is unbelievably smooth. That is super slick. Really nice. There's a lot of travel there as well, so a lot of play. Obviously you got your needle restrict on the back, so you pull that down and it stops how far back this will go, literally to nothing. So if you're doing fine lines, rather than having to find a point every time you're doing it, you can set that restrict there and it won't go any further back and shouldn't allow any thicker paint lines to be sprayed at all. You got the cutaway and the handle at the back, which allows you to get the needle chuck, so you can literally undo that to get to everything. Pull the needle out the front, take it off, and we'll take it off in a minute and I'll show you the inside as well. Over you got the paint cup with lid. Forgot about the lid. It's a nice wide paint cup. I really do like that. It's got a nice tapered neck down the bottom, makes cleaning super easy because you can get right in there with a brush. Like I say, you've got your MAC valve on the front. So this is the fine pressure control valve. You know, that's a harder Steenbeck one. The micro air control valve. So you open it up for more paint. So sorry, more air. Close it down for less air. I'll show you in a minute on the compressor working. And then you've got your air stem on there as well. The only thing I will be adding is I have a quick release for it. So it connects to my quick release on my hose. Doesn't come with a quick release, unfortunately. It's probably the only downside to this out of the box. All the harders do, that I'm aware of anyway. This one doesn't, but I had a spare one anyway, so it was no drama at all. You've got a 0.3mm needle at the front. It comes with IWATA's standard needle tip. They are quite fiddly, but this isn't as delicate as the likes of the Neo. Just going to pop it off. I'm just going to undo the needle. In fact, we'll take this off and I can show you this as well in a second. Just going to pull the needle back a bit so I don't damage it. Put that down. So as you can see, they are very small. I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully I'm not going to drop it. A little bit of luck. He says as he drops it and catches it. I knew I was going to drop it. You have to excuse the state of my hand as well. I've been weathering today, so I'm covered in wash and it won't come off. As you can see, they are very small. It's a 0.3mm needle nozzle, but they are nowhere near as delicate as the ones the Neo is criticised for. They're a little bit fiddly to put on, but it says dropping it again. This is part of the reasons why I'm a fan of the harder Steenbeck, and obviously I'm looking at the camera trying to put this on, as you do. There we go. Once you get it on, you give it a tighten up, and don't go mental, don't be wrenching on it. Just enough till you can be able to start, push the needle back, job done. Now, like I said before, you've got the pull tension adjustment, which is just there, so you can undo this to a certain extent, and this will loosen the tension on this, or you can tighten it up and increase the tension on there as well. So that's a nice touch. A lot of adjustability. I'm going to put this crown back on the front. Windy today, as you can hear, knocking stuff over. So as you can see, you've got the micro air valve on the front, the air stem, the trigger down and back. What I like about the trigger, it's got this little raised section at the back that grips absolutely perfectly on your index finger. I like that. It's a nice little touch. Just a little kickback at the top. It's obviously grooved as well for grip, which is also a nice touch. So it gives you plenty of hold and feel there. You're not going to slip off of it. Like I say, you've got your needle chuck and the adjustment there. I'm just going to adjust it back to roughly where I had it, which is about there. We're going to pop this back on. I like to take it right round to this bar is that side, so when my fingers rest on the side, it doesn't interfere with anything at all. And there we go, zoom it back out. So there's a quick overview of the airbrush. You've got the colour cup lid as well, which literally friction fits on the top, like so. Spanner is the only tool you need to take it to bits. And that's it really, so that's an overview of the airbrush. It looks a beautiful airbrush, it's very well finished. I'm assuming it's chromed, or possibly nickel plated. I'm going to say nickel to be honest. But the finish is flawless. All I've got on there is my fingerprints all over it, unfortunately. But the action's very smooth. The pullback action for paint is super smooth. I'm well impressed by that. So really can't fault that at all. So what we'll do, we'll head over to the spray booth. We'll have a little spray of it, we'll see how it performs. Okay, over in the spray booth, we've got a piece of plastic card which we're going to quickly prime, probably half of it or so, with some AK Interactive Primer. We'll then clean the airbrush, see how easy it cleans. We'll come back, we'll get a base colour down, see some lines and see how she sprays overall. So we've got my airline, which is quick release, hence why I've got the quick release on the airbrush. So it literally clicks in place. Away we go. We'll get the old AK Primer, which is my primer of choice. You can hear I've got the any old Iron Man screaming in the background, which is always handy. So we've got a decent amount in there. We'll spray this. I'll try and keep the booth off if I can. We'll see how long we can keep it off for. And we're just going to, as with all primer, get a light base coat down. And once we get it down, we start coming a bit thicker. Sprays beautifully. The action, the double action is absolutely smooth as silk. The pullback for the paint is absolutely fantastic. Really, really smooth. And like it says, the coverage, everything got the needle fully back. I have now. I'm probably about 4 inches away. Probably spraying a little bit thicker than I normally would. Mainly due to speed, because I want to get this finished. As you can see, it's quite wet. We cut to air. The beauty of a double action airbrush. As you can see, it will dry before you. So overall, there's a wide spray pattern. Sprays beautifully, like I say. The double action is absolutely superb. Very, very smooth. Leave that to one side to dry. Tip away any excess paint and a little bit of tissue. Tip away any excess paint and we'll clean it and see how well she cleans. So we've got UMP airbrush cleaner, generous amount in, we grab our brush. Standard way I clean every airbrush. With that wide tapered neck, it gets right in there, makes cleaning an absolute breeze. It's easier than the harders, I'll give it that. Like I say, you get right in there with the bristles, give it a real good clean. As always, when I'm finished, I give it a backflow, which on the IWATA you just plug the end. Like so. Anything you backflow, never ever spray back through the airbrush, because if you've got any dry paint out the nozzle, you're going to spray that straight out and block your nozzle up again. Now this is my one criticism, is you can't get right in there like you can with the pinch tip on the harders. But if you want to, you get a cotton bud in there, etc, etc. Now, if you empty that, that is probably 80% clean. There's a little remnant of paint just down there on that needle, so we'll put a bit more cleaner in. Wipe our brush off, get the brush right in that lovely wide tapered neck, give it another good clean, another backflow, and it'll be done. So nice and simple to clean. With that wide tapered colour cup, it really does make getting in there so much easier. I'm just going to spray the remnants away in my pot. One last little blast. Any second now. There she goes. Quick wipe again, and we're going to be absolutely spotless. Give it a wipe all over the airbrush. And there you go. I cannot see any remnants of paint in there whatsoever. There's a little drop of cleaner, and that's about it. One criticism I've got, which I found just using it now, the back of this, the trigger, is rather sharp, so if you're holding it like I am everywhere, it's digging right in my finger. You can see the red mark. That's the only criticism, but that's not where you operate the brush. This is where you operate the brush, so you're only holding that if you're holding it weird like I am. Other than that, action's flawless on a large area like that, covers it in no time at all. Probably does need a bit more primer. You can still see through the paint sample I did the other day underneath, but it does cover large areas rather well. So what we'll try now, I'm going to make a bit of room, put the lid back on the primer. We'll grab some Mr. Hobby green. It's khaki green. Add a little bit in. We'll spray it neat to begin with, like so. It's going to get any excess paint just dropped off. We've got the colour cup lid, which will pop on as well. The MAC valves are fully open, and let's see how it deals with neat paint. No problem at all there. If we just quickly spray a corner, as you can see, it's not super smooth, it's rather speckling. But no problem dealing with the unthin paint, just cut to air to dry it off. Obviously there are times when using unthin paint's handy, whether it's a small area, especially if it's a white or what have you, to make sure you get the coverage. So, you know, while not a major, you know, drawback if you can't, but with the 0.3mm needle, it coats with unthin paint, no drama whatsoever. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a bit of thinner in, just to thin it down a bit, because we're a little bit speckly. I'm not going to put a massive amount in. In fact, I think that'll do us. So it's probably about 40% now. Thinner to paint. Give it a little mix. Put that to one side, and if you do as I do and you always put the paint in first, which is a real bad habit of mine, give it a little backflow. I put a bit of tissue on, that's habit with the harder. With this you just use your finger. So you're nicely mixed. Give it a test and hopefully that'll be a lot better. I'm going to put the booth on now because I'm going to be spraying this, and it has got thinner in it, so it does smell quite a bit. So what we'll do the opposite corner, so you can see the thinned and unthin paint. That's going on a lot smoother now, a lot thinner. We're getting a lot less overspray, if you can see that. Now obviously you can play around with the ratios. Mr. Hobby is a little bit tricky to get right on the ratios, to get less splatter or thinner and what have you, demarcation lines. But for a test, that's fine with me. Now I'm going to spray it, it's a 22 psi right now. I'm going to spray it and see what kind of lines we can get. We'll try and write my name first. We'll do a few squiggly lines over here. So you can imagine this is a camo pattern, got a bit of pre-shading. So that was pre-shading or camo pattern, you'd have no dramas there at all. I can write my name, no dramas as well. Now what we're going to do, we're going to knock the pressure down on the Mac valve. We'll see what kind of thinner lines you can get at the top. As you can see, we can get a lot fainter lines, so it allows a lot more control. If anything, I think this could do with a little bit more thinner in there. Because we're getting a few splatters, but I'm not here to test the paint, I'm here to test the brush. As you can see, we've got slightly thicker lines at the bottom, slightly thinner at the top, just because the lower air pressure allows finer control. Come in and do some squiggles. As you can see, circles, figure of eights, no drama at all. It gives fantastic control. I'm just going to knock the booth off. No problem with control whatsoever. Using that Mac valve, you can tailor it to your own needs. I've just got a very similar one on my harder steam deck. I've got the fine pressure control valve, so I'll review this after the news show as a standalone review. We'll see how that compares to the Mac valve on this. This is awesome, I love the way that works, but you have to wait for that one for a few more weeks. But like I say, you can go from a full-on, if I show us on here, massive coverage, right down, if I adjust it with it open, so that's fully open. You can hear how slow you can actually get it. Like I say, the paint's not necessarily thin enough, but the control it allows is absolutely superb. You can still paint with it at low pressure. still gives good coverage, but obviously not as good as when this is fully open. So how does it compare to the Harders? Well, I've used the Harder Steenbeck for 4 years now, 4 or so years, probably a bit more now actually, and I love them to bits. This is certainly on par with the Infinity. I can't argue with that at all. I'm just going to empty this paint out and clean this right out to you guys, and you can see then how it actually clears up a proper paint. It's certainly up there with comparison with them, because that was my main reason for getting this and for reviewing it, to see how it compared with them. I'm used to the Harder Steenbeck. It's what I've used for a long time. They're almost second nature for me, but it's certainly on par with them. I'd say the action of the actual airbrush is a lot smoother, especially that trigger action back and the valve pressure down. It's a lot smoother. The Mac valve coming as standard is a nice feature, because that fine pressure control valve in the Harder Steenbeck is a £30 option to add, so that probably brings them almost on par price wise. The only problem with the Mac valve on this, and I'll show you in a second when I've cleaned it, is it's in a rather awkward position that if you spill paint, it literally travels right down into the valve itself, which isn't the best thing to have. But that's probably my only criticism of that. And then my overall general criticism of some of the IWATAs is the fact of the crown over the needle. Now you can get a crown cap, but it still doesn't allow the same cleaning capability. There you go, one colour cup change and we're nearly spotless, so I can't fault that. It does allow cleaning of the needle. You could get a cotton bud in there if you wanted, but it's nowhere near as easy to clean as a Harder Steenbeck with the Infinity pinch tip on. I think that's almost faultless as a cleaning aid as such. With the likes of this, you can see the paint in there now, so you're going to get in there with a brush. So what I'll probably do is get the brush with a remnant of cleaner on there, give it a little swirl round like so. That's got most of it. Bit of cleaner in. What I'll be tempted to do is probably just stick the bit of paper right up on it to get a bit of backflow in there, give it a wipe, and there we go. It's probably 80% clean now, so no problem at all. So in comparison with the Harders, let me clean this. Like I say, it's on comparison with them. We'll get them both together. I do prefer the pinch tip on the Harder Steenbeck. I think this allows for a lot easier cleaning than this. I know you can get the crown cap for it, but it's only a wavered line, so although you can get to need a lot easier, it's still not as precise as that. The Mac valve is great as standard, but like I say, where it is, if you dribble paint down here, it does end up in here, and it has happened to me. It actually happened on take one of this. I had to refilm it because I got paint dribble all in here, and it made an absolute mess, so I had to wipe it off. But best thing is, don't spill paint. It's easier said than done, but that's one way around it. I do love the trigger action on this. I think it's a lot smoother than the Harders, especially the pullback for paint. It's just ultra smooth, really nice. The needle stop adjustment, again, nice touch on the back, that comes with the Harders as well, and the cutaway the same on the Infinity as well. Downside, no quick release, which is a bit of a shame. It only cost a few pounds to put one in the box, you know, not going to cost them much, but they're my only criticism. So the crown cap, not as good as the Harder. Mac valve in an awkward position, and the fact that there's no quick release, my only downside to the airbrush. It performs faultlessly. As you've seen by the test card, we've got full coverage with primer, full coverage with unthin paint, full coverage with thin paint, nice fine lines. You know, I can write my name, I can do pre-shaded, squiggles, lines, turn the Mac valve down so the pressure's lower, and we can get a lot more control, a lot thinner lines, a lot thinner paint, as you can see by that. You won't be able to see it, but it's gone down a lot more controllable. Obviously, if I mucked about with the paint and got it thinned a bit better, it will go down better as well. But overall, you will not go wrong buying an airbrush at all. Will it be replacing my Harders? No, but it would be certainly working alongside with them. That's for sure. It's a top-end airbrush, fantastic piece of kit. It's got pluses and pros and cons for both of them. If I had to pick, it would be a hard decision. It really would. If I had to choose, I think a couple more months used to this, I'll grow to like it a lot more. I'm just so used to these, they're just second nature to me. Like I say, pros and cons on both, so I'd say they're on par with each other. This is a little bit more expensive, but it does come with the fine pressure control valve, the MAC valve, which you have to pay extra on this for, but then you've got to pay for the quick release as well. The other downside, but it's not a downside, is the colour cups aren't removable, so you can't alter the size. To me, I'm not bothered. That's the perfect size colour cup to me, and with that beautifully large tapered neck in there, there's no need to remove it whatsoever. Absolutely flawless, brilliant. So there you go. Not much to choose between them, to be honest. If you bought either, you're getting an outstanding airbrush either way. Like I say, I'm going to own both, so I got the best of both worlds. Sorry, one other thing I forgot as well. You've got this little tapered piece of metal here, which again allows a nice hold as well. That's your forefinger and your thumb grip it beautifully to hold. I did forget about that, my bad, I do apologise. So like I say, you choose either, you're not going to go wrong. These are going to work side by side with each other, doing different tasks, maybe the same tasks from time to time, and maybe one will become the overall favourite. In a couple of months, again, exactly the same as I said with the compressor, I'll come back, we'll do an update on how I'm getting on with it, and we'll certainly do an update with this, and hopefully you'll see a lot of this in upcoming build videos of mine as well. So there you go, the IWATA Highline HP CH. Aircraft.net is where I got mine, and if you want to get one, go see Martin, speak to him, he's a cracking guy. Some of the best prices you'll find on the net, and absolutely flawless, awesome service. So there you go. Recommended airbrush by me, absolutely superb bit of kit, beautiful looking airbrush as well. Highly recommended. So there you go. So hope you like that review, guys. Hope it hasn't been too confusing. I haven't waffled on for too long like I always do. If you like what you see, go and get yourself one. I know they're not cheap, but it's a top end airbrush, and I know a few of you guys already own one as well, because I've seen them already on the forum, which is what made me buy one. And there you go. So I'll catch you guys on the forum. Catch you next time. See you again.
Okay, cheers for that, Paul. Well, as you can see, another handy airbrush added to the review section. We're going to go through the GBs and SiGs now. Now we've got quite a few to talk about. So first of all, we've got a new long-term group build starting this month, the first of this month. Now this is the Shelf of Doom group build. Now it's a long-term group build, so it's going to go on. I think this one goes on for 5 months, not 6, which is what because we're a bit out at the start of the year. But the Shelf of Doom, the idea behind it, we've had a lot of people asking, what's the Shelf of Doom? Well, basically, the Shelf of Doom is any model that you started, you know, in the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years even, that you've put back in a box, or you've put in a tub, like I've got tubs of Doom, not a Shelf of Doom, or you've put back up on the shelf in its box, and you thought, well, I can't be bothered to do that. You've hit a point on it. Sometimes as models we hit a wall with a model, we get so fed up with it, think, well, bugger it, I'm going to put it in the box, I'm not enjoying it anymore, and I'll come back to it at a later date. Those are the models we want those are for the long-term GB. So basically it's going to help you mop up all that old stuff that's in the thing. Now the only rules are, it can be anything, any model whatsoever, it doesn't matter. Okay, as long as you've had to glue a bit of it together and you've got to paint it, then fine, it can be included. But the only rule is it has to be at least 25% completed. So you have to have actually started it and got quite a way down the road with it, and then thought, well, bugger it, I don't want to do it anymore. Now I've got about 6 that I can do. I will probably enter a couple if I get time around my other models. But there's several I've got one that I left out one night and the birds escaped from the cage. The birds escaped from the cage, and I think one of the finches must have sat on the model all night crapping on it, and it is absolutely covered in bird's poo. And I shall definitely be including that one because I need to get that done. It's a FX, oh god, FX Spitfire, but it's one I want to get finished anyway. So yeah, so the log that'll start on the 1st of August and that runs till the 31st of December, to just after Christmas. And I think that's going to be quite a popular one because you can enter as many times, like if you've got 5 models on your shelf, and you want to enter it, then this would be ideal for that, just to mop up, give you a bit of incentive to mop up all those unfinished ones. I've got plenty of them, and I'm sure lots of us have. So right, the sponsor for that's going to be Ultimate Model Products themselves, obviously, as they are with all the long-term group builds as well. We had the World War I Centenary SiG that started on the 18th of July. Now that's a 3-month one, so that's been going a couple of weeks already, and that runs until the 12th of September. It's basically anything that was in active service during World War I. So it can be any model, again, any genre, whatever you like, it doesn't matter, as long as it was an active during World War One, a vignette, a scene, diorama, whatever, doesn't matter. Sponsor for that is S&M stuff. That's underway. There were a lot of people asking for a World War One GB or SiG. We've put one up, and there's not been that many entries actually. So if you fancy doing a bit of World War One, you've still got 2.5 months left on it, so plenty of time to get started. So get on over and get cracking. We've also got the D-Day anniversary SiG as well, is still going through. That finishes on the 12th of September. One of those is wrong. One of those dates is wrong. I don't know which one. I'll have to double check. It'll be up here anyway, so the correct dates will be up here. But your model of choice must be in the D-Day invasion and involved in a couple of months afterwards as well. I don't think May, June, July, we don't think we've got that much left. That was a 4-month one because it was a GB, so we've probably got about a month left on that. I think the date's wrong on there, but I think that finishes in August at some point. So, but as I say, the date will be up there. That's sponsored by Models Our Go. So these are the prizes for that. That's third, first and second, sorry. And the World War One prizes are: first we've got the Model Air tank set, tank extreme set. Second prize would be the AK weathered wood, and the third prize is the Dark Earth and a set of UMP Sanders. And we've also got obviously Hollywood Modellings and Seb's Dangerous Cat SiG, the Panther Pig, which we've been doing. That has got a month left to run. It finishes at the end of August. Now I'm pretty much base coated up. I've just got to, you know, put the final paint on my ambush camo for this, and then get down and do some weathering on it. Yes, I will put some mud on it, guys. Obviously we're supplying those guys are supplying the prizes for that, but there's some really great entries into that so far. We've also got the civilian vehicle long-term group build, which finishes, it should have finished when this goes up. If not, it'll be the next day or so. And there's some great entries so far. The reveal vid for that will be in the second week of August, because I'm away on holiday for the first week, so that will be a little bit late getting up. But obviously UMP was a sponsor for that, so we've got prizes for that as well. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. But yes, so all that's quite a few, as you can see. So all the GBs and SiGs, as you say, every month. There's a calendar planner on the website here. If you go into the GBs and SiGs section, you can download or just take out the picture of this calendar, print it out, and you've got something to hand that you know, let you know what's coming up and when. I think the next one I'm going to enter will be the Vietnam one. I've got several things to enter for that. It's just deciding which one I'm going to do. But yeah, so great. GBs and SiGs are really ploughing along. Some great response, guys. So thank you very much.
Hi guys, Paul and Tasha Scale Modeller. Welcome to another review. What we've got today, we've got the Badger battery operated paint mixer. I've wanted one of these for a while and finally got my hands on one a few weeks back. Looks a handy tool, so a few people are using them. I thought it was about time I got one as well. So obviously battery powered, we'll open it up. Not much in the box, we've literally got a bit of bubble wrap, the actual paddle itself, and the instructions. So we'll quickly go through the instructions. So 2 AA batteries, which ironically I very handily have right next to me. To insert batteries in the mixer, slide the end cover off and insert the batteries as shown on the side of the mixer. Insert mixing rod into the body of the mixer. Make certain mixer in opposition before inserting mixing rod. Insert mixing rod into jar of paint. Do not turn it on until the rod is in the jar. Well, yeah, that's fairly obvious. And slide the thumb switch to turn on the mixer. Do not remove mixing rod from the jar until you turn the mixer off. This prevents splatter. Soak clean cloth in proper cleaner and wipe mixing rod clean. Okay. Keep mixer away from face. Remove batteries not in use. Not recommended for children under 12. Okie dokie. So fairly simple instructions. So we've got the actual body itself, which is wrapped in bubble wrap. We've got the Badger logo on the side. And yeah, we have a battery compartment on the end, so we'll pop these in. We've got on the side there keys, which are where the batteries go around. It's got some AA batteries which will pop in. That should then fire up, which it does, as you can hear. And then we've got the paddle mixer, which is just a basic metal paddle which is angled at the bottom, chamfered. And then it says, there we go, it just fits in. So there we go, as simple as that. Can you do different speeds, or is it literally on and off? literally on and off. So there we go. So there it is, all assembled, batteries in. Like I say, it's not exactly the nicest looking of things, but it's purposeful rather than cosmetic at the end of the day. Now, I was going to pick a nice acrylic paint to mix, but acrylics don't thin or, you know, separate that much. So what I did, I got a nice bottle of Model Master enamel, which, as you can see, has thinned terribly because there's the acrylic underneath. You can see all the thinner on top. So we're going to give it a go in this. Hopefully I'm not going to get covered in it. I'm not even going to bother shaking it. We'll take the bottle lid off, and as you can see, it's separated to hell in there. So this is going to get a real good pasting now, and we'll see just how well it performs. I'm going to zoom us in. I think I'll zoom us in on the side a little bit as well. There we go. We'll keep it there, and we'll see. Try and keep my hand out of shot for you. Yeah, it's definitely full of paint at the bottom. We'll give it a good go around, and we'll see just how well we can mix that paint up. Now that's probably mixed by now. I was tempted to give that a quick blast, but I don't think we will. So obviously you're going to get a bit of paint on the top. Obviously the less full your bottle is, you could just give that a whop around inside to get rid of the excess paint. So we're just going to wipe it off. Wipes off nice and easy. Now what I would do, I have a little jar that's next to my paint booth, which I use to clean off brushes, paint stirrers. Now you put a little bit of water in there, or screen wash, or a bit of RUMP thinner. Cleaner rather. As you can see, that's nicely mixed now. The colour's even all round. As you can see, it's Russian underside blue, which you would never have known from looking through the top before, because as you saw, it was absolutely separated to hell. But as you can see now, that is perfectly mixed. You can see a little bit of foam on the top, and that is ready to use. So that's just rejuvenated an old bottle of enamel paint that's probably stood there for quite some time, separated itself, and I probably did double the amount of time needed with that to actually get that going. And there you go, perfectly mixed paint. Now what I was just saying then, I always have a little bottle next to my airbrush that when I've used brushes or I've cleaned off with these little things. In fact, they're sitting in there right now. So if I was using enamels all the time, I'd probably have one with enamel paint cleaner in there, but I'm not at the minute, so I can't go and check it in there. But what I will do, I'll use a little bit of cellulose on a cloth and we'll clean it up, because obviously I don't tend to use enamels that much, but I thought it was a good demo to show just how well it cleans, which you cannot fault that at all. And there we go, we're probably 90% clean. So there you go, a nice simple tool. They cost, I believe it's £12, I think it's £12.98. And again, I got this from martinaircraft.net. I order quite a lot of stuff off Martin all the time. Saw this along with the fine pressure control valve, which I'll review in a couple of weeks for the harder. Got them together, and I thought you guys might have to say it's a simple review, very short review. It's a simple tool, but it certainly does what it says it does on the product itself and on the box. I think this have a lot more uses than just a paint mixer. You could make, you could thin your you could mix your oil washes with it. You could mix your UMP washes with it. It's got a multitude of uses. Things like, I'm just looking around my workshop now, Mr. Surfacer, to give that a good thin, stick it in, give it a whiz round. It's gonna, really mix it up well. You've just seen how well it mixed up that enamel paint. That, couldn't be any better an advert for it. So, multitude of uses. I'm sure I could find plenty. You could even use it in your coffee if you wanted. But there you go, £12.98. Looks a well-made tool. There's no little tiny bit of vibration, but considering the length of that mixing rod, there's no real bother at all. So this should last quite a while. I know a few people have got these, and if you're looking for a paint mixer, so again, look at this. I can see again a lot of use for myself. For a multitude of uses, and like I say, you'll see it quite a lot in upcoming build videos, etc. over the next coming months and years, hopefully. There you go, the Badger battery powered paint mixer. aircraft.net, I've got it, £12.98. Highly recommend a bit of kit by me. Nice simple tool, but does exactly what it says on the box. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching the short review. I'll catch you next time, and I'll see you guys on the forum.
Well, thanks for that, Paul. There you go. That's the Badger paint mixer. I'm okay. I think I might just stick to my toothpicks and snap sprue and things like that. But still, nevertheless, quite a handy little tool, I suppose. Right, we're just going to quickly go back to forum news. Kit review sections growing daily. I mean, we've got over 400 video kit reviews in there. Again, if you've got a YouTube channel and you do kit reviews, you're more than welcome to pop all your reviews on there for us, and that'll obviously get you extra subs to your channel and things like that as well. So hop on over to the kit review section, post your videos up of the model kits that you're reviewing and things like that. That'll be excellent. Thank you very much. Just to let you know, the kits that are coming up for review this month that I'm doing are going to be now, because we've got the Vietnam SiG coming up. I think it's the next couple of months. If we're going to do a few Vietnam-based ones, I've got the Academy 148 F4C Vietnam War one. I'm going to do the A37A Dragonfly again, Vietnam. I'm going to do the Meng 172 F102A Case XX, again another Vietnam aircraft. And I'm also going to do the Russian Terminator. Look at that thing, that is a beast. I can't wait to get into that box. So that's the reviews I'm going to be doing coming up this month. But as you can see, 3 Vietnam ones there for getting ready for the Vietnam SiG that's coming up, GB that's coming up a little bit later in the year. So what we're going to do now, also I'm going to do a couple of videos, and you forgot about this. I'm going to do a hairspray method video for at some point during the month as well, and release that. I've had quite a few people asking, sending me PMs about how do you do the hairspray, what's the best products and things like that. So I thought what I'll do, the easiest way to do it is do a video. So what I'm going to do right from the very start is like decanting the hairspray I use, all sorts of things like that, right through to actually using that, finishing the hairspray and things like that. I've had some cracking results with hairspray. You've got all the AK stuff that's very similar, but I just don't think you can beat the hairspray method. But I'm going to do a video for that, a little tutorial video for that this month, and also I'm going to do a little tutorial video for our UMP sanders. And we get again a few questions. Now this, it's like the sanders. You've got the buffers. They're probably the sander that I use the most. But people don't seem to be buying them for some reason. I don't think they understand what they're for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little video using our, because our range of sanders are made. We've got all the grits that they're actually a system. You can use them as a canopy seam line removing system, and a system for any seam lines as well. And you go down in the grits. It's like compound, the Tamiya compound. You know, you've got 3 different compounds, and you go down, you start rough and go down to the fine. So and that's the same thing with sand. So we're going to do that, and then we can put that up on the UMP site as well. So that's what's coming up for August. Now I've got to cram all that in because I'm only going to be here 3 weeks in August, so hopefully I'll get it all done for you. But what we're going to do now, we're going to draw the monthly prize winners. Okay, so monthly prize draw winners. We've got for one prize, which is kindly sponsored by Tim at Value Kits, which is the Trumpeter 135 Russian T90A main battle tank. This one here, cracking looking kit. I think Paul's done a review on it in the past, but it does look a mighty fine kit indeed. And the winner of that is Old Stratfordian. I don't know, I haven't the pleasure of talking to Old Stratfordian, but well done, mate, you have won the prize. So if you'd like to PM me your name and address on the forum, we'll get this out in the post to you. So the second prize is for the full set of UMP washes here. And the winner of that is Art17847. So well done, Art. If you come onto the forum, PM me your name and address, and we'll get these out to you ASAP. So well done, prize winners on those. Now this month's prizes are going to be the Eduard limited edition Fighting Eagles in 148 flavour, and that's a cracking prize kit. I think when that was released it was like 60, 70, 80 quid, something silly like that, but a very nice kit indeed. I think Paul's done a review on it as well at some point. Again, so that's going to be a nice prize for someone. And the other prize, sponsored by UMP, would be a full set of the sanders, one of everything of the actual modular sanders. So, so definitely some prizes to get into. If you get over to the forum and you type in for the August competition monthly free prize draw, pop your name in, make any comment you like, it doesn't matter, or just count me in or anything like that to be within the chance to win those fabulous prizes. Okay, so now we are going to go over to my build video. We're going to do the build video. So we're going to have a look, see what I've got on the workbench at the moment. Okay, so my build section, what have I been building this month? Well, I'm going to start with the finish that I've actually had, woohoo! And that is this little baby here. Now, as you can see, it's a Flak Panzer Gepard, a Tamiya one. I wish I'd done a review of this kit before I started building it, because I have to say that I absolutely loved building this. This kit's got a lot of little quirks and you know, extras. It's all these movable parts that, you know, you don't get on modern kits, and you've got to say to yourself, well, why not? This is, I think this kit's 30 plus years old or something like that, and it's absolutely brilliant. But as you can see, on the overhead, oops, that's fallen out, but I've given it some light dust weathering and things like that on here, as you can see. Some at the front as well. Okay, now, and at the back you can see this weathering here. It's very subtle, and that's how I like to do my and there's a layer of dust over the whole model. Now, well, I don't know if that's fallen off, I'm going to have to put that back on, but you've got inside here, you've also got this little section. Let me just pop that down. You see everything moves, and as you can see in there, that's been weathered with wash. That's a bit dirtier than the outside, but it's great. It's got that little compartment. I mean, everything that's on here can move. I mean, you've got the radar can move. Obviously, it rotates as well as going back down. The guns, all the guns move as well, as you can see. The captain's hatch opens and everything. Commander's hatch opens and everything. You've got the front radar, which revolves as well on a spindle. It's just popped out. I'm not going to put. Oh no! Oh, I've just knocked that off. Oh, bugger. Okay, well, I'll have to put that on back on. New biggie. But as you can see, now I took quite a bit of ribbon. I've taken quite a bit of ribbon on this because I haven't over weathered it. And as I've said many times before, I don't like to over weather my stuff. I love the guys that do it. Don't get me wrong, I think they're absolutely fantastic. It's an art form, weathering. But I don't do dioramas, and where I don't put them on dioramas, I think when you're going to weather, if you're going to weather it heavy, then it needs to go on a diorama to put the weathering in context. Without a diorama, I don't think the weathering works, to be honest with you, that well. It does as a showpiece, but when I've got it in a cabinet and I've got lots of them all lined up, this is how I like it. As I've said many times, I'll build the models to how I want them, not to how everyone else wants them, and that's the ethos of our international scale modeler. So for those people who keep taking the mick because I haven't over weathered it, tough mate, go find another website. Alright, but just to give you an idea of the size of this thing, this is the Panzer II that I built a little while ago, and I just wanted to put it in comparison. This both on 35 scale, but as you can see, look at the size of that compared to, you can't believe how small those Panzer IIs were. You know, it's absolutely tiny. You know, that Panzer II is basically the size of the turret on on the Gepard, on a more modern tank and everything. But I just wanted to show that, so I'm really gutted about that wind mirror actually. I have to put that on there so I don't lose it. Right, so that is my finish. I've actually finished another one. Woohoo! I've also got, obviously, I've got this Jag Tamiya, another Tamiya Jag Panther. That's all ready to basically just have the ambush camo on. I was going to use the ammo paints on it, which I used for the base, which the Dunkelgal came out really nice. But I've tried spraying with the ammo paints, which the other two colours, which are these. Okay. Now the rock brown and the olive grun, these are the other two colours for the ambush pattern. Now I luckily Paul and Mike Cohen done a test on these and found that they weren't right in the fact of spraying. So luckily, before I tested it on a piece of plastic card, which I don't know if I've got that somewhere. As you can see from this, I haven't primed it, but you can see how the paint separates. They've been doing this test, and this is how it separates. Now I've used some Mr. Colour leveling thinner, which is this one here, and it still doesn't work very well. It's the other Mr. Colour cellulose thinners that is working. This hasn't worked for me properly, so I can't do the airbrush colour until I get some more of the cellulose thinners from Mr. Colour one. So that I'm hoping I'm going to get that in the next few weeks, so I can finish that before the end of the SIG. It's a bit of a shame about those ammo paints, considering I invested in the whole bloody range. Yeah, so that's that. And then I've also got the Eduard Spitfire, which I'm doing for the D-Day GB. Now this is to a point now where it's ready for base paint. I think there's a couple of little odds and sods that I can do. You can see from with the filler parts that I've had a few little issues, but nothing to write home about. I mean, that's all perfectly smooth now, you know, all the joins are sorted. There's this one down here. I mean, to be honest with you, this kit it's a beautiful amount of detail. It really is top notch, but it just seems a little overcomplicated, because I've built this at the same time. Now this is the Tamiya Mark V, and you can see the level of detail is, by far. If I hold them right up close, you can see that on the Eduard you got all those rivets, and there's none on the Tamiya one. But to get that to that took me 10 minutes to knock together, literally to that 10 minutes. Now I've got this as a practice piece. I'm going to do this. We're going to do the sanding video for the UMP site, so I'm just going to use this to show you some sanding techniques and things like that, and then I'm going to base coat and use it as my test piece and everything. But that was so easy to put together, it was unbelievable. Not so the Eduard one, not easy to go together, but it just seems in places overly complicated. That's all. It just seemed to be more complicated than it needs to be. But saying that, is an absolute peach of a kit. I mean, the detail on it for out of the box is stunning. Now, as you can see, I mean, you can't really see much of the cockpit there. I'll zoom you in if I can. There you go. Okay. That's the trouble with cockpits. You never see a lot of the work that's in there. But that's, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pop a picture up, a couple of pictures of the cockpit. So here you go. There's a couple of pictures of the cockpit, as you can see. I'm really chuffed how that came out. Very nice indeed. As I say, lots of detail for 148 out of the box. Really impressed with that kit, you know. But I think it's just some of the fitting issues are just a little bit overly complicated. But apart from that, it is a lovely kit, and it's going to look good once it's done. So that is it. I don't think I've got anything else. That's all my kits for this month. Haven't been that busy, but at least I've got a finish done, and I'm hoping to this month have that Spitfire done and have the Jag Panther done as well. So if I can get both of those done as well, that would be smashing. And that means I'll have a completely clear desk at the end of August, bench at the end of August, for me to pick another 2 kits. And I think probably I want to do this kit, which I'm going to do for the Vietnam. I'm going to do that for the Vietnam SIG. So I'm quite looking forward to that. It looks nice, that does. It's either that, or I might do that. I haven't made up my mind yet, because I love the look of that kit. It's absolutely awesome. This small plane completely loaded out with all that munitions and everything. Absolutely awesome. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to have 1 aircraft on the go, and I'm seriously tempted to do this as well, which is a Meng. Which I'm going to review. I might review before I build it. But this is a Russian armoured high mobility vehicle, the Tiger. I might do that as well as that aircraft. I mean, that I might go to town on the weather and that, and do it all muddy just to keep everyone quiet. So just to practice my mud thing on it as well. But that looks like a lovely kit. So I'm going to try. I might do those 2. I might be my next 2 builds. So with that's all done. So thank you for putting up with me and my moaning. So let's go back to the show. Okay, so there you go. I had a finish. Woo! As I said, I've been ripped off a few people for not putting mud on it and things like that. But to be honest with you, as I said many times before in all my videos, I do like clean models. That's how I like my models to be. And I do like weathering, but I like subtle weathering on my models. I know everyone's got their own preference. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I love the people that can weather really heavily and make things look battered and old. It really is very, very clever as an art form in itself. But I like mine reasonably clean, especially as I don't do dioramas. So I mean, I can muddy it. Really, if you're going to muddy it up and things like that, that goes better on a diorama. If you're not going to put it on a diorama, I think really just a subtle weathering would do. And as you do see, I did put a dusting over on that, but I like it anyway, so I build it for my satisfaction, not anyone else's, as the saying goes. But yeah, so hopefully I'll get those 2 of those others done next month as well, so that would be nice. So I can concentrate on the Vietnam one as well, what I'm going to do for that. So, well, there you go. So now we're going to go over to Paul and Paul's little section of the video each month. So over to Paul.
Okay, thanks Lee. So welcome to my little segment of the news show. What's new this month? Well, more kits, more paints. You know me by now, you know how it goes, the current trend. Added a few paints, added a lot more kits to the stash as well, which is always a good thing. That's by the by. What's new? Forum, absolutely fantastic. The forum's just up the wall at the minute, it's so busy, it's absolutely superb. Just reached a 2,000 members mark a few days ago, and that's outstanding. And just over a year, that's absolutely brilliant. It just shows the success of ISM, going from strength to strength. And you guys make the forum where it is, and I enjoy spending time on there. Some phenomenal builds, some absolutely fantastic work on there, and just great humour, banter, superb, absolutely great. SiGs, the Night Fighter SiGs just ended, and some outstanding work in there. Everybody entered, fair play, well done to everybody that entered and finished. Outstanding work, the winners, well deserved, well done guys. You all deserve to win. Obviously judging isn't great. Me, Lee and Gary don't relish the thought of judging other people's work. That was the chair then, not me, by the way. Don't enjoy judging people's work, but it's got to be done, and it's done, and that's just the way it is. So well done to everybody that won. The World War I SiG has just started. That started the 18th of July and I finished the 10th of October. Something I want to take part in. I was hoping to do Tamiya's Mark IV tank. It's just come out, but it's £45, and I can't see that it's worth £45. I don't know. I'll see if I can get cheaper anywhere else. I might try the Far East maybe, but the risk getting stung by customers. I was hoping to take part in it. I don't know yet. I'm not sure what price the Takom one's going to be when it comes out, but I'll have a look. But it was a GB I want to take part in. If not, I might have to look elsewhere. Sorry, SiG, take part in, I might have to look elsewhere, but that's just by the by. Upcoming SiGs, I'm going to have to look up on my calendar on the ceiling. Yes, it's a weird place for it. I've got the D-Day one, which is carrying on. My bill's on hold at the minute for that. Shelf of Doom starts 1st of October, so that's coming up very soon. For that I'll be digging out my KT, King Tiger Dragon one I started last year, the one with all the photo etch on. And I'll be finishing that off at last. So that runs from the 1st of August to the 31st of December. We've got the Vietnam GB, which starts the 1st September and finishes the 31st of December as well. And the 6 military wheels and more SiG, which starts the 17th of October and that progresses to the 69th. So plenty of GBs coming up, plenty to keep us interested. Definitely entering the Shelf of Doom and the Vietnam one. Maybe the World War I, I don't know yet, we'll see. In January, running from January the 1st, and Mike's going to hate me saying this, January 1st to April the 1st is the Cohen Tiger Tank Build SiG. Cohen is going to be cringing right now because we were literally chatting about this before on Skype. I said I was going to make a joke of it and say it was an honour of Mike, but I knew he'd go mental if I said that, so I'm not going to say that, even though I just did. But yeah, to commemorate our very friendly tank modeller, Michael Cohen Campbell, Devon Bliss and I believe it was James Duval came up with the thought of doing a Tiger Tank SiG in his, not honour, I didn't say honour Mike, in his, it is in his honour, there's no way to say it Mike, it's in your honour mate, I'm sorry. So it's Tiger 1 only, no KTs, no derivatives of Tiger 1 tank only. And like I said, it starts January 1st and then it's April the 1st. I will 100% be in that one. And I've got the beautiful Dragon 6253 late production Tiger 1, which is the Whitman Tiger. I just sourced off eBay and that's one of the best kits I've ever seen from Dragon. And I'll be building that in honour of Mike. I'm sorry Mike, I said I wouldn't say it, but there's no other way to describe it mate. So looking forward to that one. And that's it really for GBs and SiGs. Probably more along the way to pick and choose from, and I've got an idea for a little buddy build SiG I'd like to do at some point, which I'll mention now, I might as well. I'm hoping to, at some point later in the year, probably nearer November, December maybe, doing like a 172 only. So it's got to be 172 build, that's it, whether it's a tank, plane, whatever. 172. The kit needs to cost under £10. You can only hand paint it, there's no airbrushing allowed. You can only use enamels, there's no acrylics allowed. You can only use homemade washes, homemade weathering products, nothing else allowed. If you build an aircraft, you're not allowed to mask it. You've got to do it freehand, so that means canopies, camo patterns, the lot. You can only use tube glue, so no extra thins, no poly cement, literally the old-fashioned tube glue, the horrible stuff. And I'm pretty sure there was one other stipulation, but I've completely forgotten now. No, that's about it. I think that makes it hard enough. So if anyone's interested in that, I'll pop a little thread up on ISM and maybe the Facebook page. Just a fun build, it's not an official build. I'm getting dive bombed now by something, so ignore that for a minute. Not an official ISM SiG or anything. It's probably, I'm going to start off as a buddy build because I know I've got 3 or 4 people interested in doing it, and if more get involved we'll turn into a little SiG, we'll see. But I'm looking later on, maybe we'll see how work goes for me, and we'll get involved. Just a fun build, a month or so, if that. It's not going to cost you a lot as long as you've got the enamels already. But I think it'd be a fun build, getting you back to basics, especially with the old hand paintings. I haven't done that for a long time. But yeah, I'll pop a thread up on ISM, I'll put it on Facebook. If you're interested, drop me a line, we can sort something out. But it'll be along those guidelines. It's just make, you know, get you back to basics and get your modelling done again as well. Other news, the YouTube channel's just reached 10,000 subs, which again is phenomenal. Myself and Lee are absolutely astounded how well the channel's done over the past year. We started off in May, I think it was May 25th with 300 subs because it was Lee's old channel. And in that time we've gained 9,700 more of you guys. Fantastic to see you watching the videos, and obviously hope you're enjoying the videos. I wish I could make a lot more videos, especially build videos. Hopefully by the time the course airs at the way for your models, I may be able to get more of the ISM build videos out. I don't know, because obviously in September my son arrives to this world and my world's going to get turned upside down. So we'll see how that goes, but hopefully when they're out of the way I can concentrate more on ISM and we can get out more build videos for you. I've got a few coming videos I want to do. I know Lee's doing one. I don't know if he's going to want me to tell you, but I'm going to anyway. Lee's going to do one on canopy seam removal, and I'm going to do one on Alclad, which is something I've been meaning to do for a long time. Myself and Lee were humming and hawing, I want to do it, he wants to do it, but I get asked that often now about how to use Alclads. I've got to do a guide, because I get, not sick, but I get repeated the same question and I have to keep explaining it over and over again. So we'll just do a short, you know, half hour, 40-minute video on using Alclads and the Mr. Hobby buffables as well. That'll clear a ladder up, and if anybody asks, I can just direct you to the video and I'll explain it all, because seeing it done is a lot easier than explaining it. It's a lot easier for you guys as well. And that's it. So coming up, reviews. The trumpeter, I'm going to have to look now, it's a T90 with a welded turret, I believe, was last month's prize. The review of that will be up either just before or just after the new show. Like I said, I've had a busy month, so it's not been the easiest. This month's prize, I don't have it with me, but Leo will probably put a picture up, where's the room, over there somewhere, is the Edward 148th limited edition Fighting Eagles F15, if I remember right. It's a nice kit. I used to own it, but I got rid of it when I got a Great Wall Hobby, and I know Stefan Wallen's building his as well. Probably said your name wrong, Stefan, because you know I'm terrible with names. And it looks a great kit. Again, supplied by Tim of Value Kits, who supplies all our monthly prize draw prizes. Thanks a lot, Tim. Superb kit as always, and there should be a review of that next month off myself as well at some point. So that's a fantastic prize. It's worth, I think, about £40–50, so it's not a cheap kit. It's full of resin, photo etch, masking sheets, the lot, loads in there. It's a cracking kit, and I believe it's based on the Academy F15, which isn't a bad kit either. And Edward just add all the bits to it to super up to a super duper kit. So that'll be the next one's prize, and the prize was, so one lucky person's going to win that, and obviously Lee's going to announce the winner of this Trumpeter T90, which is an awesome kit. So wait for the review of that. So that's it basically. What we'll do now, we'll head over to the workbench and have a look at my current builds and see what I've been up to. Okay then, my current builds. What we got on the bench at the minute? Well, there's a couple that haven't really changed. The P51 is still, it's put away like I did last month. Just got too much on at the minute, so that's away. That'll come back out once we clear the bench of some work, mainly the Corsair, once that's out of the way. The Challenger 2 is still at the same place it was a couple of months back. Again, clear a bit more room off the bench. I will get back to that as well. And the Corsair, the 132 Tamiya one for the E-Models build, that is exactly the same as it was last month. Pure and simple, I'm not going to lie, E-Models thought they put my video up and they didn't, and 3 weeks later it's only just gone up, probably even a week ago. So there's a new video of that due. We'll probably do it next week, so come next update, hopefully we'll quite a bit more work done to that, but that's why there's no update on that. If we go with my current builds, first off we've got the Great Wall Hobby F15. So as you can see, she was primed, pre-shaded. I think she was plastic last time we were at this. So it's been primed, an AK primer, pre-shaded, a base coat of ACAN, I cannot remember the FS colour now, and then the camo pattern sprayed in a slightly darker grey on top. Very, very soft demarcation. You'll probably barely be able to see it just along here and down. And then on top, you've got the subtle camo pattern on the wings, leading over the intakes, over the spine of the aircraft, over to the engines, and on the rudder, the vertical stabilisers, horizontal stabilisers, the lot. So quite happy with the paintwork on that. Next step on this, I'm going to go up a little bit actually so we can fit it all in if we can. Next step on this is post shading, sorry not post shading, is panel fading, bleaching effects, post shading, get some of these panel lines to show up a bit more. Same underneath as well, we need to post shade, pre-shade, bleach, etc. But there it goes, it's looking great now, looks like an F15. Certainly getting there, it won't be long before we're at decals with it, so it's absolutely superb. We've also got the burner cans, they've been sprayed in Mr. Hobby dark irons, they're ready to be buffed off. I didn't do them in the last video, but I will show them in the next part coming up again. Probably a week, 2 weeks, but we get that one up again, because I know Lee's away from the first, so there'll be no videos uploaded for a week unfortunately. If I can get it done before the first I will, but I doubt it will, to be honest. So it's going to be a couple of weeks, probably at least a week before we get the next part up, but it will be back soon. So that's that one done. I'm just going to pop that out of the way. Next up we have my 135th Dragon. That's actually a Cyber Hobby kit. It's a Panther, it's a reconnaissance Panther. Panther D. I'm building this as part of Sebastian and Hendrik's Hollywood Modelling and Dutch Modelling's Panther SiG. So as you can see, I can't remember where we were at last time. I think we were literally at the base colours and the camo was on. Maybe I've done a little bit of chipping on the turret. All the road wheels are done, they've all been painted, the rubber outer and the Dunkelgelb inner. Tracks are all assembled. We've got the entire vehicle has been chipped. Now all the tools have been painted. So these were painted with the ammo tool set colours, which worked out beautifully, absolutely stunning. Same on this side as well, if you can see it. So all the tools, I'll turn it around so you can see properly. So all the tools have been painted, the wood effect turned out beautifully, as to the chipping. I think I need to do a little bit more, especially on the side armour plates, needs a little bit more at the top. But I think we're about done there, I'm quite happy with it. Did overdo it first, few words with Cohen, who I'm kind of following his method this time around rather than my own. To try and tone down the way I do, because I tend to overdo it. We also painted the jack on the back, and we've got the base rust colour down on the exhaust as well. So happy with the way that's turned out. It's coming along great guns, and I will be working on this on the hangouts on Friday. This will be getting washed, clear coated, a bit more chipping, and I'll probably do the wash on the hangout on Friday. So that thing's looking absolutely great. So pop that to one side. Like I say, no progress on the Corsair. That's still where it was last time, but what we have started is for Cohen's Curse group build is the Tamiya 148th IL2 Sturmovik. This I started, it must be 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. The kit is just absolutely amazing. The RRP on the kit's £55 for a 148, so it's not the cheapest. I actually got it for £34 off eBay, so I can't fault that at all. It's gone together flawlessly. There was literally 2 little bits of filler. One was on this tail root here, and there was a little bit more on one of the sections underneath, but all the seam lines are beautiful. There was no filler needed on the top, a little bit of super glue on the front, and that was it. Turned out absolutely fantastic. So this has all been buttoned up, camoed, pre-shaded, We've got the base AMT7 underneath down, and then we've got the AMT, got just top of my head, AMT1, which is the light brown, AMT4, which is the green, and I believe it's AMT, I can't even see the paint, I think it's AMT14 for the faded black grey. Camera pattern's gone down very nice, absolutely superb. And you sprayed this the other day. I've added some tonal variations. You can see the post shading, I keep saying post shading, the panel fading, the bleaching effect in there, and what I need to come back with now is a little bit of post shading to add, especially to this light brown. It's absolutely pig to get the post shade in the original colour. What I'll probably do is I'll come with a bit of Tamiya smoke, highly thinned, and we'll post shade with that. Same underneath, we'll get it post shaded. Although you can see the pre-shade, and I want a bit more prominent than that. And we'll get it showing just how you like. Now I have plans for this. It's going to be a fairly weathered aircraft. I don't like well-weathered aircraft. I never have. I know Lee's the same opinion as well. I like paintwork effects, a wash, and that maybe a few exhaust gun stains. That's about it. But on this, I'm going to add a little bit more effect, especially the undercarriage. We're going to have dirty wheels, tyres. We'll probably come with a bit of Tamiya buff, spray some, sorry, out of shot, spray some dirt effects up the side, up the front. Then we'll probably come in with some pigment, some chipping on the wing roots. And the reason for that is I plan to do a little dio for this. I'm planning on probably a 15-inch square base, which will be depicting a Kursk era field airstrip. So it'll be grassy, dry grass. I have these two guys, which I'll show you in a second, which I painted up the other day, and also a Russian field car as well, just to add a bit of effect. We've got all different grass effects. Put in a couple of boxes, some bushes, long grass, etc. I haven't done a dio for a long time, and you guys have never seen me do a dio either. It's probably been, my god, 11 years since I did a dio, so it's been a long time. Same with the figures. It's been 11 years since I painted any figures at all, and I absolutely sucked at them back then. I built these, which if I grab the box, are a pair of Ares resin 1/48 Russian Aces. So you basically got a commander, or sorry, a commanding officer, and a pilot, and the pilot's describing what he's been doing. So I assume I've come down like this, flew around here. So they went together beautifully. Again, I did this on a hangout. So following a few different guides here and there. I've got a book on figure painting, which I bought a few weeks back. I know a lot of you guys got it as well. And also following the guide in my scale 75 flesh tone set. I set to where painting them. If we zoom in, like I say, first time painting figures in like 11 years as well, and I think they turned out alright. They still need a bit of work. They basically had all their base colours down, so the leather was down, the skin tones. I've then come in, added all different variants of the skin tones. We've even got the eyes in there, which is the first time I've done that. Got the fur around the collar. The leather jacket was painted a leather brown colour. It was then dry brushed in a lighter brown colour, and then finally dry brushed in an almost orange colour. And I think the leather jacket came out fantastic. It looks well worn, just as I wanted it. We had a white fur collar, which was then washed with a Vallejo acrylic sepia wash, which was then dried out. Like I say, we used scale 75 flesh tones on the face, and they came out rather well. There's still a little bit of work. Let me get the camera to focus again. Again, Vallejo Panzerrace acrylics on the clothing and on the hat, and the gold work as well. It was Tamiya gold, and we did the same leather effect but with different colours on the boots. So what's left to do on these? I need to tidy up the facial features. So we're going to put a, just from speaking to Cohen again, like I say, I'm trying different effects, different methods, and with being, you know, a bit rusty on the old figure painting, I'm asking for advice everywhere. So I probably put a number wash on the face, all over the body and the clothing, let that dry, and then following Mike's recommendation, come with a black wash and focus on the clothing and what have you. What's going to happen then, I'll dry brush some areas, because we're probably going to lose some of the effects of dry brushed on the trousers, the hat, etc. Come back in, add those back, and then a matte coat. Job done, that's a figure done. And then depending on the setting, we'll add some dust effects to the boots, maybe a bit of dust to the trousers and what have you for the airfield. So that's him, absolutely fantastic. I'm happy with the way he came out. And then we've got the pilot as well. So this guy's all in green, as you can see the highlights on his clothes. His eyes went a bit wonky, as you can see. I think he's got a bit of a turn in his eye. But again, it came out well. The leather effect on the headgear came out quite well. I can see where a bit of paint has rubbed off his hand, which I didn't see the other day. I'll just get the camera back. Just spotted that there, so that needs touching up. Like I say, the skin tones still need touching up. It's a work in progress. But for not figure painting for 11 years, I'm more than impressed. We need to do a bit more skin on his neck as well. But they came out well. Considering I did them in a hangout, chatting to everybody on Google+, I'm quite impressed with how they turned out. Very well. So like I say, big plans for the dyno itself. So hopefully we'll have only got about, I think it's 3 weeks till the Cohen's group build ends. So by the time we come back next time, we'll all be finished. We've also got all the other parts and components for the aircraft. So we've got the prop, undercarriage doors, landing gear, etc. These are all ready to be painted up, so they'll be done as well. And then very quickly, one last kit. I bought a few of these a few weeks back from Tim of Value Kits. I know Mike did as I sent Mike one, Cohen one through the post, which was a gift from Tim, very kind of him. And I've seen Rob on the forum building these, and Rob is absolutely stunning. Those 172 figures, mate, are out of this world. Absolutely amazing work. And your Tiger, wow, inspiration. Hence the reason why I sat there last Friday night and built this. So we've got a 172 Jag Tiger. It's a Porsche turret one. Cracking little kit. One-piece slide molded barrels. You know, a lot of manufacturers can learn from these kits. You know, if Dragon can do this at 172, why can't Tamiya? Slide molded barrels. We've got photo etch grills coming with the kit. All the tools, everything you need for it. As you can see, all the road wheels are on cocktail sticks, ready for primer. But I put it away for now. I literally built it because I had nothing else to do on the hangout, and I couldn't paint because it means going away from it. So I just built it, and to say I'm impressed is an understatement. I've got another 3 of these in the stash. There's about 40 in total through the whole range, and they vary between £8 to £20. And there's some cracking kits out there. I can see me building a lot of these in the future, and it's absolutely stunning. Like I say, some of them come with metal barrels, metal tow cables, die-cast chassis, a lot. Absolutely superb. If you're looking into getting an arm, or you're on something a bit more small scale, have a look at that. The detail on this would blow some 135 kits out of the water. I'm telling you now, absolutely superb. What I did, the tools were moulded on, so I cut them off with a chisel and put the tow cable on with the integrated barrel cleaning rods in there as well. Like I say, you get spare tracks for it. The road wheels are very, very good quality. So there's one of the many road wheels with the kit. Absolutely superb. Like I say, a lot of kit manufacturers could learn a lot from these 172s, especially Tamiya. Even the likes of the vinyl tracks are better quality than anything I've seen come out of a Tamiya kit. They're even properly handed as well, which is great. So looking forward to getting this painted. Once I get a little bit more work off the bench, I'll get back to this. This will be a fairly quick build, and I can't wait to try the camo on this. It'll be tritonal camo, because I've actually got the reference out of my 135th Jag Tiger to go on. Not doing that camo scheme, but I pulled it out as a quick reference to look at it, and it's great. So if you're looking for a quick build, get yourself one of those, because they are absolutely superb builds. Instructions are very basic, and they are Dragon's rather basic colour ones. As you see, there's not a massive amount to the kit. Bit of PE, the vinyl tracks, and 2 sprues, and the upper and lower hull. That's probably the kind of camo I'll go for. Can't beat a Jag Tiger with tritonal on. That looks absolutely superb. So, like I say, simple instructions. I built this in about 4 hours again on a hangout. Nice simple build, and like I say, highly recommended to anybody looking at getting into armour or downscaling, or even, you know, try your hand at something a bit smaller. Highly recommended. Absolutely superb. So there you go, those are my builds for this month. I have been quite busy, not as busy as I would have liked to have been. Next month you should see a lot more work done, especially on the Corsair, the F-15, the Panther, the IL-2, Stemovic, the diorama should be done as well. So that'll be great as well. So there you go, guys. There's my little segment for this month. I'll see you next month, and I'll pass you back to Lee.
Thanks, Paul. So as you can see, Paul's been prolific again, as he always is. Good luck to him. He has so much time in the bloody man cave, it's not fair. But now we're going to go over and do a quick review of Tamiya photo etch file. I needed a file specifically for photo etch because none of the stuff I had that was working very well. So I took the plum and got this one, but here's a review on it. Welcome back to Industrial Scale Modeler. I'm Lee. Today we're just going to do a quick review of a new little tool I've got. It is the Tamiya Craft Tools Diamond File, specifically for photo etch parts. Now, I start to do a lot more photo etch now and things like that, where I'm doing a bit of armour and stuff like that. And I've got one of these in the stash. Now, this is a diamond file, but as you can see, let's zoom you in a bit. It is extremely rough. And it really does just, it's like having a chainsaw on very small photo etch parts. It's nasty. I've also got one of these, these are cheapos as well, and these are supposed to be for fine metal parts. They are okay, they're smooth cuts, but they just don't seem to do the job. You know, they're not made for photo etch. So I'll take those two away. So let's have a look inside the packet. I mean, there's nice Tamiya packaging. It's synonymous with quality tools. I think both Paul and myself are in agreement that you can't beat the Tamiya tools. They really are built to last and made very well. But it literally is just one of these packets that you open up like so. So this comes in a very small wallet, which I suppose I shall keep it in as well. So it's very nice. But aside from that, the diamond file's got a very long handle on it, and this is a hard rubber thing, so it's good to grip. You can fit it in your whole hand, so it makes for better precision. Whereas these, you know, you can only grip in your finger and things like that, so they're a bit wobbly. Whereas this, you can get a much better sturdiness to it. So I like that straight away. I like that. So it sits in the hand really nicely. You've also got, looking at it, you can very hardly see the abrasive surface on this. I mean, these are very fine diamond offcuts. Let's bring you in a bit so you can have a look. Okay, as you can see there, very fine abrasive surface. It's almost non-existent. You can only just feel it on your finger there. So very fine indeed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a bit of photo etch, which I have here. This is from a Spitfire, the Edward Spitfire that I'm doing at the moment. And as you can see, there's lots of little, let's bring you in a bit again, sorry. Right, so as you can see, there's lots of little things where I've cut out this back of the seat panel here for the Spitfire. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to file away a couple of these just to give you an idea. Okay, so you see that little one there. So I'm just going to file that away. Now, because the abrasive is ever so smooth, it doesn't bend the plastic, the fret. But what I had with the problem with the other one was it would bend the bit of photo etch that I was filing because I'd have to press harder. But as you can see from that, it's totally got rid of that there. Left it very smooth. Yeah, I like that. That's very good indeed. I'll just do another one here for you. As you can see. Now that takes away, totally smooth edge there. A couple of passes and it's gone. Really, really nice. I like that. Ever so smooth, very easy to control. It's got a nice fine point on it as well, so you can get right into some very awkward areas if need be. And it has this rounded semicircle, which you can't see from there, but you can see it from that angle there. A semicircle, so you've got some rounded things as well. Now I'm pretty sure that they do some other photo etch files as well, because this is a number 400, so I would assume that there's some more on there. That would be a 400 grit, and I've got to say I have to agree with that. That is definitely a 400 grit. So overall, I think that's a definite bonus. It's a lot better than what I've got at the moment. As I say, I'll flash the price up, or it's already been up, the price. I can't remember off the top of my head how it was. I got it from Lucky Model or Hobbylink Japan, and it was very cheap. I think if you get them in England, they're about 15 quid, something like that. I'm not sure, but I'll flash up the cheapest place I found them anyway, or where I got them from. But overall, it's a definite recommend from me. I think that's going to prove to be invaluable when I'm doing my photo etch. It's much better than anything else I've got. As I say, I've got 3 sets of these, 3 different sets of these, and none of them are any good really. That is top drawer, really is top drawer. So fine on it, the abrasive is so fine on it. really does work well. Anyway, so that's it from me. Take care, until next time. Bye bye. Well, there you go. I hope you found that a little bit useful. I've got to say, I've used that file quite a bit since I bought it, because I've been doing the IWATA Spitfire, and I've done a lot of the cockpit work. There's a lot of photo etch for the cockpit work and things like that from the IWATA Spitfire, and that thing's been absolutely invaluable, and it's definitely worth the money. It's a lot of money for one single file, but it is really worth it. It's so good at getting rid of very fine photo etch without bending the photo etch, which is really important. So if you've got a spare few quid and you do a lot of photo etch, then that is without a no-brainer, without doubt. So go and get one. But anyway, we're on to the show now, right near the very end. We're going to just run through the sponsors and say thank you to them, as we do every week. So a big thank you to S&M Stuff, Sean, for sponsoring all our SiGs and everything. Thank you very much, mate. To Models Are Go, John and Mandy at Models Are Go, for sponsoring all our GBs. Thank you guys, very much appreciated. We've got Value Kits, Tim at Value Kits, for sponsoring our monthly free prize draw. Thank you very much, mate. Ook, ook, ook. And we've got obviously ourselves, which is Ultimate Modern Products, for sponsoring the long-term GBs and other bits and bobs and things like that. So that's come to the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next month, take care. Bye bye.